Larry Csonka is a winner and will forever be remembered for his contributions to the winningest team in NFL history, the 1972 Miami Dolphins, the only perfect season in NFL history. Csonka was elected to the NFL Hall of Fame in 1987. Since leaving the spotlight of pro football, Larry Csonka has become one of the most sought-after sports humor and motivational speakers in the country.
By the time you go to the Hall of Fame, you stand there thinking, why'd I retire? Listen to all those people say all those nice things. You think, man, I was bad. I could have kept playing, you know. I feel pretty good. I told Ray Nitschke, I could play another year. He said, Csonka, I'm going to tell you something. Don't believe it. He said, you might have one play left in you. If you're a lucky Hall of Famer, when you get inducted, you got one play left, and if you're smart, that you'll keep it.
Accustomed to each event, Csonka relates his ladder climb through the NFL with business.
You're going to take on the Giants, but you've got to be the dream team. That's one tiny little secret that goes in to perfection. Coach Shula told us about it before we attained it. He said the winning edge is just this. It's caring. Every morning when you get in your car and you put the key in the ignition, every morning when you sit down at your desk or you open the door to your office, take 5 seconds and think about what you can do to do your part. My favorite situation is to feel like, number one, I've entertained that group, and number two, I've left them at least a little undertone, a little motivational message. Perhaps it was kind of secondary, perhaps it was not played on heavily, but the fact of it is that they understand that in order to be the best, it takes a day-to-day commitment. Whether you're doing it on an NFL field or whether you're doing it at a sales office, wherever you're doing it, in an industry or in sports, it's the idea that you are in fact dedicated to it and you're willing to give it that little extra inch, that little extra edge.
I found out there was a few things that Bob Greasy in his infinite wisdom had not told me about that Saturday night coming up. First was the name of the team, the Chicago Bears. You see, the Bears had this thing that played middle linebacker for them. It was named Butkus. Hut one, hut two, the ball was snapped. Greasy turned around from his position at quarterback and reached out with the football, and he was right. He and I were eyeball to eyeball. My position at fullback, I raised up a little bit and looked over his shoulder. As he reached out with the football, his left shoulder went down. And I saw my two offensive guards pull and run into each other and fall down. Looked like little aqua and orange turtles rolling on their back right there. Two defensive tackles from Chicago getting out of the way, and there coming up through the middle was Butkus. I will never, ever forget the look in Bob Greasy's eyes when I gave the damn thing back to him.
Csonka's high energy level and warm personality carries over into his other projects as well. Since the NFL days, he's appeared as a featured guest on numerous national television programs and commercials, as well as hosting his own outdoor adventure series on ESPN, cable's largest network.
Why we plan these getaways. Nature in its purest form, here in the big sky country of Montana. That's where we're spending 20 minutes running up and down the Bighorn River, isn't it?
It's the speaking circuit, though, that Csonka concentrates on most, always reminding his audience that his NFL career experience relates to their business.
In the early years with the Dolphins, we had two different groups, we had an older group and a younger group. They were brought together. It's like taking two different departments today within industry and merging them. Suddenly, they have new teammates to work with. When those things start to happen, they work up to a thing called teamwork. Once you have teamwork, then you can start to reach your objectives. And then something happened, and this is going to happen to you all. Maybe it just won't be one individual. Maybe it'll be a group of you. Perhaps it'll be all of you. But it's going to come down to that. You are two entities that have merged into one. You've refined, you've communicated, and now you're dealing with teamwork. Somewhere down through that, when you're taking on giants, the Nabiscos, the Keeblers. Somewhere down through it, there's going to be a moment when you turn the corner, and you're going to know it. The pressure's going to be on. The big guy is going to come off the front. The big guy is going to lose the top billing because of what you do and how you perform.
Possibly more important than MVP awards, possibly more important than the Hall of Fame, being part of one team that is the best ever. Ladies and gentlemen, I've enjoyed being here with you. I'd like to stay here and talk some more. I don't know about you. Some of your faces are contorted. My bladder's killing me. Thank you very much for having me.